Okay, so we have Janet Gasparini from the Social Planning Council of Sudbury. And Janet, how is the Do the Math Challenge, how is the Social Planning Council involved in the Do the Math Challenge?
Well, we've been involved for over a year through our provincial network, the Social Planning Network of Ontario. We've been very involved in anti-poverty work since prior to the last election, certainly even longer than that. But one of the results of our involvement around that time was a strong call from participants in communities to make sure that people had enough money to buy healthy food. And so coming out of the work with 25 and 5 over the last 3 years, we've been doing advocacy work around Put Food in the Budget, which is a campaign to increase social assistance checks by $100 for nutritious food for people. So Do the Math has come out of that work as an advocacy piece to engage more and more voices in lived experience, in understanding that people cannot pay the rent and buy nutritious food, and that all of the things we're trying to do to move people off of social assistance and into the workforce really gets undermined by not making sure right from the start that they don't wake up in the morning in a safe, comfortable accommodation with enough nutritious food to nourish their body, to put them in a place where they can actually then take on the challenges of the world.
So the rollout of the Do the Math Challenge actually started today with our press conference this morning. The participants are actually going to go pick up their food bank baskets at the Salvation Army Food Bank. They've had to make appointments, they have to bring their identification, they will go through the assessment process and then wait for their food baskets to come out. Now for the rest of the week they're going to live off the contents of their food basket. They are not to accept food or drink from anyone. Even if they're attending a conference, they are to brown bag their lunches. And so with that, they also have other guidelines that when they're doing food-related activities like attending the soup kitchen or attending the mission or any other community dinners, they can only use public transportation, bike, walk, or ask someone that doesn't live in their household for a ride.
Disability support program. So I wanted to see exactly how they manage their food budget. If they're a single person, if they're a family and they're paying rent, how they survive and how they eat healthy or unhealthy food. So over the next week, I'm going to stretch 3 days worth of food over 7 days. And during that period of time, will have to go to the soup kitchen or the mission and have at least one meal. So this will be an eye-opening experience of what people in our community are going through every day.
We really need to bring this discussion out into the open. I think basically most people do agree that access to food is a big issue that needs to be addressed, but the discussion isn't really happening, and in order to raise awareness and get people thinking and realizing that this is something that has to be fixed and that there are solutions to this problem of not being able to afford food is really important, and that's why I'm taking part in the challenge. As the chair of the Sudbury Food Connections Network, I'm really happy to say that we are looking forward to solutions to the problems of lack of food, lack of healthy food, and inability to access food in our city. If you look at the problem from many different perspectives, we can look at solutions that deal with increasing income for low-income people. We can look at transportation issues. Can we improve transportation? Can we make sure that there are grocery stores that are near transportation routes, that people with decreased mobility can get to grocery stores? We can look at agriculture, looking at, do we have sustainable ways of growing our food? Do we have control over the food that we buy? Do we know how it's grown? Is it in a way that is going to be able to sustain us for generations?
Personally, I have a garden. I've had a garden for the last 7 years, and I've been able to help my family make healthy food choices by growing green beans and yellow beans and zucchini and potatoes and tomatoes, corn this year. So the list goes on. And I think it's important for us not only to see what other people are going through, but also to feed our bodies and feed our brains. So this will be a good challenge, and regrettably, I'm looking forward to it.
Since I'm a member of Parliament, I have an opportunity to talk to Parliament. So through the week, whenever the opportunity arises, I intend to keep my colleague at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario updated as to how the challenge is doing, what it means, and basically bring a level of awareness at the level of the MPP as well as the people back here in Nickelbelt and Sudbury. I logged on to your Facebook account also, so I intend to send a few little messages there, either help me or whatever comes. We'll have to see, live and tell.